Hello and welcome back to Suspended Animation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithouilkas, and it's time for Saturday Morning Blast Off. Welcome, everybody. I'm going to take care of some business first before we get to the news, and then I'll get into it. If you like what you see, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, you're going to see at the very end of this video a video pop up here. Basically, what YouTube does takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up there just for you. Up here is going to be Harley Quinn at the very end of this video as well. If you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, you can hit the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the weekly live stream schedule that's up there, which I also mirror on my Facebook page. And speaking of Facebook, there's a Facebook group page which you guys can post stuff on and chat amongst yourselves. On suspendedfanimation.com, I also have all the links to all my social media. That's Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon. No tiers set up as of yet. And you can find all that stuff there. So, how's everyone doing today on Saturday? I'm going to take a little bit of a different tack this time because of all the people that are late. I'm going to start off with the big news and just roll right into it. And first of all, I just want to say happy 5/9 Hack Day to all my Mr. Robot fans out there. Yes, today is 5/9. It is the 5/9 Hack Day. It's the 5th anniversary of the 5/9 hack. And, well, in the show it is. They actually did it in 2017. So, it's really 3 years, but still. 5/9 hack. Yes, I almost forgot about it, and I saw it someplace else yesterday, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's right. I got to remember to, say something about that." So, yeah. So let's start off with the big news. Boba Fett returns. Dun, dun, dun. So, what is all that about? So it was announced, I believe it was yesterday or the day before, actually. Tamora Morrison, who of course played Jango Fett in the prequels, and of course now they later on dubbed over his voice into the original trilogy and all that stuff for Boba Fett. He will be in the Mandalorian season 2 as Boba Fett. Yeah, that's right. So that spurs that we heard jangling, and the little cape that we saw in season 1 that went over Ming-Na's character there, that was actually Boba Fett, and he is going to be in season 2. And of course, he's going to be going after the child. I know everyone wants to call him Baby Yoda, but it's the child is what it is. He's got his own name. They just haven't told us what it is as of yet. Hey, Stanley. So yeah, it's some interesting shit. I mean, we're getting Ahsoka, possibly Rex. Now we're getting Boba Fett put in here. This is a Star Wars fan's wet dream, pretty much, is what this is. We're actually getting some good Star Wars and on TV. Yes, it is a pay service, but we are getting some good Star Wars and good Star Wars stories too. That's the whole thing out of this. We're getting the dark saber in there. The Siege of Mandalore most likely is going to be touched on as well, because most likely than not, our Mandalorian was in the Siege of Mandalore. And yeah, that's going to be very, very interesting when we get to all of that. Maybe we might even see Darth Maul himself in a flashback. Because actually, does this take place? This takes place after Return of the Jedi. So in canon, Darth Maul is already dead at that point. Spoiler alert for those of you who don't know all of that. But that's in Rebels. Yeah, they took care of him in Rebels. And honestly, that's over a year old. It's more than over a year old. I think it's like 2 years old now. So if you haven't seen it, tough. Now you know. And knowing's half the battle. G.I. Joe. But shouldn't Rex be there too, Stanley? Possibly. We don't know. That's the rumor going on right now. So, Rex has the same DNA as Boba. Actually, Rex should be about, since he's been aged artificially, he's probably about almost 20 years older than Boba at this point, just because of the artificial aging that they did. to the clones. Yeah. All right. What else do I got going on here? Tom Cruise is supposed to be filming part of his next movie aboard the International Space Station. Um, I don't know how I feel about that. It could be, I from what I hear, I'm hearing rumors of it's supposed to be for Mission Impossible 85 or 96 or whatever number they're on right now. And I just can't believe that the International Space Station, NASA, whoever it was who's in charge of the finances, sold out on that and agreed to, you know, sell it. Sell them a ride up there. And yeah, it's just, well, they're going to have, at least have a camera person up there, him, and most likely the director is what I'm thinking. Space, the space station has some really tight quarters. They don't have a lot of room, not a lot of room for a lot of people, so it's going to be really kind of weird. But yeah, this was announced on Twitter and through the International Space Station program, and I'm like, really? You guys are doing that? Why? Maybe we could just keep him up there, or jettison him to the sun. I mean, towards the moon. Yeah, towards the moon. Send him back to whatever planet he came from, wherever Xeno came from. Yeah. Not not a good thing. But hey, it's a Tom Cruise movie, so honestly, I'm not going to see it. Remember when Disney Plus, actually, when they first launched and they announced just before they were going to launch there that they were going to do an unscripted short form series called Muppets Now, and then they abruptly canceled it for some unexplained reason? Well, supposedly it's back now in fall. Most likely because they don't have anything that's in production that they can do that keep social distancing and things like that. And so if you have, I'm pretty sure you can do puppets on their own, background or whatever, and just have the person who's doing the puppeteering and the voice work and all that stuff do that work by themselves, and they can composite that stuff together if they need to. Yeah. Penn says, and that's still not the strangest Tom Cruise story ever. Yes, that is not the strangest Tom Cruise story of Tom Cruise being shot into space to film a movie. Yeah. So, hey, Keith Hamilton. But yeah, I'm interested in seeing more Muppets. Hopefully they do this well. I don't understand the short form unscripted portion of this. I don't know how they're going to do this. I don't know what they're going to do. It sounds kind of weird, but hey. It's Muppets. I'll probably give it a shot and see what's going on. I mean, Kermit was the one that announced the news on Twitter. Yes, he does have a Twitter page. Or a Twitter presence, I should say. A Twitter presence. So, what else is there? Oh, yeah, sad news. Project Bluebook, along with Nightfall, which was Mark Hamill was in that in Nightfall. Both of those have been canceled by the History Channel. But on the bright side, you get 85 more seasons of Black Oak Island or Oak Island. Oak Island, that's what it is. Where you have assholes digging up mud and find nothing for fucking 18 seasons. And they always have dramatic music. We found a sliver of wood 59 feet down. Dun, dun, dun. That actually is getting better ratings than Project Bluebook, believe it or not. So, yeah. On the bright side, Project Blue. Yeah, Stanley, you need to go on a timeout. So yeah. They are shopping around. Actually, the showrunner is shopping it around because A&E, who produced the History Channel, of course, and also are producing Project Bluebook, they're like, yeah, we're done with it. We're not doing season 3. but the showrunner now is going to shop it around and see if he can actually sell it off someplace else and get it made, because we left off on a pretty big fucking cliffhanger at the end of season 2. And yeah, I'm sad to see it go, to tell you the truth. I really like the show. And yeah, but again, like I said, it leaves more room for Oak Island, so you can have more dramatic pauses around a fucking Zoom meeting while they try and figure out when that sliver of wood came from. If it came from, a Viking ship, or if it just came off the piece of wood that, fell in the forest 400 years ago. Shit. I swear. Reality TV. Yeah. Not a great. You never heard of Oak Island, Stanley? It was on right before Project Bluebook. But since you never watched Project Bluebook, I'm taking it you never watched History Channel either. So, unless it was for Vikings, which no longer exists either because that was canceled. Yeah. The History Channel is kind of a shit show, quite honestly. Unless it has some kind of conspiracy theory, or it's a conspiracy theory show, which is way the fuck out there, or something really boring about some guys digging up an island looking for buried treasure that may or may not be there. Yeah. Penn says, I was fascinated with Oak Island as a kid, many years ago, but the show killed it for me. Yeah. The show's just boring. It really is. You can watch the very beginning of an episode and the very end of an episode, and you get what you need out of it. And I mean, literally, the 30 seconds of the beginning and 30 seconds of the end, and you're done. So, Night Fight was a brutal show. No, that thing was horrible, Joe Greer. That was, I watched some of that and I was laughing at it, going, yeah, this is just stupid. This is, they're trying to bring the Renaissance Fair to TV, which I was just like, I mean, the only thing that was kind of interesting was Forged in Fire, where people are making knives. But then again, you can only do so much of that too, where you're just kind of like, yeah, I don't need any more of that. Watching some old guys almost have a heart attack because they have a non-air conditioned studio. So the forge is getting, everything inside the studio like 150 degrees. And you got these like severely overweight guys that have diabetes, and they're trying to forge shit in like 3 hours. And they're like, and you could actually see the fucking fat going through their artery into the brain. Yeah, it's just a sad testament that's on TV now. It really is. Did you like my heavy breathing, by the way, over the microphone? And trust me, I actually watched quite a bit of Forged in Fire, so I even thought about doing knife forging because of that that show. So, and yet I still have a bad feeling about it. Children of the Corn. Remember that movie, Children of the Corn, the Stephen King, based off the Stephen King book? Well, it's being remade down in Australia by Kurt Wimmer. And if you don't know who Kurt Wimmer is, he did the little movie called Equilibrium with, Christian Bale. Good movie, by the way. He also did Ultraviolet. He's done other stuff as well. But yeah, he's working on Children of the Corn down in Australia, and supposedly he's filming where he's not supposed. Basically, they're doing social distancing as well down in Australia. And from the report that I read, or the article that I read, it doesn't sound like he's following some of the rules. Which, yeah, I don't know. I have no idea what's going on, and it just it's going to be a movie. Keith Hamilton. It's going to be a movie, not a series. It's a movie. Yeah, Children of the Corn spawned like about 15,000 sequels in the 80s and 90s, and good God, man, we really didn't need it. And hopefully, it's not going to. I'm starting to see again the Stephen King revival. I've said this before. It's usually kind of like everyone, you reach a saturation point of Stephen King shit, and then it drops off for like about 5, maybe 6 years, and then it comes back again, and we're starting to crest again on all this. I mean, what is it? They're doing The Stand on CBS All Access, I think is what it is. What else are they doing? I think they're doing Salem's Lot again. I think they're doing Christine again. I just read about some obscure Stephen King short story that's being remade into a movie, is what it is. Shit like that. I honestly, I gave up on Stephen King stuff a while ago. It's not scary. It's more sad than anything else. And if I want to watch it, there's old movies, TV series that are out there. Yes, we have reached peak King a long time ago. And yeah, just read his books if you can stomach the bad writing. Penn Farm Girl says, I don't think it needs to be remade. The original is pretty scary, or at least gory. Yeah. I think, wasn't John Carpenter involved in that? Wasn't he like a producer or something like that? I know he didn't direct it, but I think he had his hand in it in somehow. I can't remember offhand. It's been too long since I've actually seen it or wanted to see it or thought about it. But yeah. But I know for the new kids, they don't know any better, and they haven't seen it yet, and so it's new to them. As John Lennon said, everything old is new again. Speaking of which, Nev Campbell is in talks for Scream 5, supposedly. Her and David Arquette. Speaking of shit that doesn't need to be brought back, do we really need a Scream 5? Hasn't the slasher, the parody of the slasher flick, or the whatever, played itself out now at this point? I mean, I think Kevin Williamson, who actually created this back in the 90s, has moved on from all of this as well. And I don't even think he acknowledges that he created that at all. Scream? I don't know what you're talking about. I create movies now. Yes, there was a Scream 2, 3, and 4, Stanley. There was. Penn Farm Girl says, I took a corn stalk to school and put it in the locker of the person I saw with it. And I saw it. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I was debating whether or not to put a Scream mask on, but yeah, Scream was good for its day. I mean, it had its place in history, but again, you can never go back. As the old saying is, you can never go back home again. And once you've opened that door, it's done. I mean, the whole premise of it, of taking the trope of scary movies and then kind of playing it out within a scary movie, in and of itself, is done now. You can't do that again, because scary movies, they just don't really scare people anymore, considering the shit that we live in right now. What are you going to do? I mean, is she going to be sequestered at home, kind of thing? And, the ghost face killer is going to be zooming her. He's going to zoom bomb her, is what he's going to do. I'm going to zoom bomb you. I mean, what the fuck? Do something original, for God's sakes. I mean, really, like I keep saying, there's a shitload of stuff, as you can see behind me in the books on these shelves back here, to choose from. Choose something new, do something new. Stop fucking remaking shit from 30, 40, 20, 30, and 40 years ago. I don't need it anymore. We don't need it anymore. Start doing some new stuff. Stanley Trio says, I'm scared of my mailman already. Nothing left for movies. Why are you scared of your mailman? Does he come at you with a ghost face killer costume on and a knife, or what? Is he throwing your mail through the window, or he or she? Or is it just because you're afraid of the virus? So actually, we got something new coming up. Here we go. Thank God. Emily Blunt and Dwayne The Rock Johnson are set to star in a movie adaptation of the comic Ball and Chain. Now, the comic Ball and Chain involves a couple that are getting ready to get divorced. Basically, they're having a really bad marriage breakup, and they get bathed by the light of a meteor, a passing meteor, and get superpowers from it. The catch is their powers only work when they're together. So, in order for their powers to work, they have to stay together. Otherwise, they have no powers. And yet, they fucking hate each other. So, it's kind of like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, only with superpowers in a way. I was like, all right, I'll go and see that. That sounds like it's pretty good. I'll go and see that. And I like Emily Blunt. Dwayne the Rock Johnson, yeah, his movies are played out because it's always going to have a happy ending. Dante S says, "Did you get to check out Justice League?" No, I haven't. So yeah, I'm actually all for Ball and Chain, and also that it's based on a comic book, and it's fucking something original for a change. It's not another rehash. It's not. It doesn't have a number after it, like Mission Impossible 57 or this time it's really really personal. They need to start renaming it, not Mission Impossible anymore, but Mission might be a little difficult. Mission, okay, might be hard. Mission, slightly difficult. Have him open up a pickle jar. I don't know. Honestly, it's again, it's a dead fucking concept. For me, it was dead after the first movie when they made Phelps the bad guy. You don't make fucking James Phelps the bad guy. I'm sorry, doesn't happen. That's when J.J. Abrams was dead to me. I believe was straight away on that right there. So what else do I have here? Seth Graham Smith. This is the guy who did Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. Wrote it and all of that. He's going to adapt R.L. Stine's graphic novel Just Beyond into an 8-episode horror comedy anthology for Disney Plus. I am not familiar with R.L. Stine's work because, again, I was not the demographic. I was not at the age, I should say, when those books came out. They were made for preteens and teens, and I believe I was in my 20s, maybe even my 30s by that point. No, actually my 20s, because it was in the 90s when those things came out. So yeah. J.J. Abrams ruined a lot of franchises for me, Stanley Tweedle. That's why he needs to stick to doing his own shit. Stick in the Cloverfield universe. That way, I don't need to watch any of that shit. It's boring anyway. Maybe you can do a sequel to Super 8. Make an homage to that was the homage to Spielberg. He can do an homage to, I don't know, Lucas or something like that. Oh, wait, he tried that already with episode 7 and episode 9. Never mind. So, and let's see what else there is. So Bright, that came out on Netflix, Will Smith and Joel Egerton, and that was really good. I liked it. It was a lot of fun. It was a different world, all that kind of stuff. I've been waiting for the sequel to come out ever since they announced the sequel was going to get made. David Ayer is not going to be doing this. He's not going to be coming back for it. Unfortunately, Netflix now is making a deal with Louis Leterrier to direct Bright 2. And just like that, my interest in that sequel is dead. I wanted to see more of that world, but I don't want to see it with Louis Leterrier. He has some really, really shitty camera work. The editing that I'm sure he has a hand in is not done correctly. It's like we have the shots are too long. kind of thing where you say cut it here like about 10 seconds earlier than what you thought it was supposed to be. And yeah, there's all kinds of weird stuff too. But yeah, the critics didn't like it, Stanley, but you know what? The audience did. And the audience really, really, really liked it. So yeah, I wanted more of it too, Penn. And I wanted it from David Ayer. I didn't want it from Louis Leterrier. I was, he was another reason why I didn't like Dark Crystal, the one that was on Netflix, because he directed a good majority of that. And I could tell his directing style right off the bat. And for some reason, it just fucking irks me. So yeah, wasn't for me. Yeah. But there you go. They are doing a second one. He's in the talks to direct it. Hopefully that falls through and we get somebody better to come in and direct it. Most likely we won't, but that's the way things been going in this universe. Anyway. Speaking of disappointments, Mark Guggenheim, this is the guy who is worked on, the CW DC shows. He is writing a script for Rob Liefeld's Prophet. So Prophet is a comic that came out in the 90s, if I remember correctly, about a soldier who had some enhancements, who was going to be frozen for a future mission and ends up waking up early in the present for a mission and he's looking for a mission that doesn't exist yet. So yeah, not really. Well, one, it's Rob Liefeld, so the hands and the feet are obscured at all times. That's what they should do in the movies. And two, it's Rob Liefeld's writing, so yeah. Hopefully they clean it up. Mark Guggenheim can clean that shit up. Lois Derrier. Is that the porn star, or I don't know. I know you're making fun of Louis Leterrier, but yeah, I think his name already sounds funny as it is. Will he have lots of pouches? Hopefully, Keith Hamilton. I mean, it does fall in line with Liefield's. I have to admit, Liefeld did one thing that was actually pretty funny. He did a character, I want to say it was last year, called The Pouch, which was nothing but pouches all over him. I mean, even his face had a pouch on it. And that was actually fucking funny. But then again, that's just because he's been made fun of all his stuff, all this time. Yes, and gigantic chest muscles that look like boobs. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just Google Liefeld Captain America. Wow, that's all I can say. It's just horribly, horribly bad. But where was I? Yeah, Prophet. I remember the comic coming out. I don't remember too much after that because I don't think it lasted very long. But hey, if they're gonna make a movie, out of it for him, sure, why not? I mean, Mark Guggenheim is kind of your middle of the road script writer anyway. If you want something done fast and cheap, and somewhat competent, so sure, why not? Go for it. It's not like it's going to be an Academy Award winning movie to begin with. It's not based on anything that's going to be all that great anyway. Speaking of which, May 19th, Stargirl hits DC Universe, and they released a first look at the Injustice Society, and I'm hoping that they're going to spend a little bit more money on cleaning up the CGI in it. I know it's CW. It's basically a CW series because it's going to play on the CW the next night anyway after it airs on DC Universe. Just the special effects look like a CW show is really what it looked like. The Injustice Society has a lot of CGI to them, especially the icicle. The icicle is basically, think of Iceman. That's pretty much the icicle. And yeah, I don't know how they're going to do it. I really don't. I understand why it's on DC Universe because it had a little bit more of a budget. But yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to pull it off with that much CGI. I really want, I like Stargirl. I like the concept of Stargirl. Um, I remember reading the comic a bit. I'm fuzzy on it. It's been too long, quite honestly. But I don't know. Stanley Trail says, if it airs in a week, do you really think they have time to improve it? Possibly not. Who knows, Stanley? I mean, that could have been a rough cut that they had done a couple of weeks ago, and that they are still rendering out some of the stuff in CGI. It does happen, and you could do that within a week. You could do some more render processing to make it a smoother, actually add some lighting to it, add some texture, some better texturing to it, that kind of thing. So it is possible. I mean, it's all done digitally now anyway, cut digitally. It's not like it's not like it's going to film, like they're having to do prints or anything like that, because they're just going to be, putting it on TV. Now, if it was coming out in theaters, if theaters were open and all that kind of stuff, I would say no, that was the final end product. And you're like, oh God, holy crap. But I still think they have a little bit of time in order to tweak stuff just a bit to make it a little bit better. But then again, they might have run out of money too. Who knows? It is ambitious, especially for a show of that caliber. And if Titans has anything to tell me about, so you have two different tiers of DC Universe shows, okay? You have Titans, which promises a lot and gives you nothing. You have Swamp Thing, which gives you a shit ton but gets canceled because they really, really overstepped their reach and spent a ton of money. What was it? 80 some odd $1 million for the series. I liked Black Lightning at the beginning, so maybe it could be decent. I like Black Lightning too, and I mean the CGI on that is dodgy at best. They do a lot of stuff from far away, so you see like little tiny characters flying around like shh. So yeah. Too soon to mention Swamp Thing. Still hurt. Yeah, I know. I know. Mark Verheiden is actually working on something else. I can't remember offhand what it is. He just got attached to work on something that was announced, and I'm having a hard time remembering what it is. That's what happens when you get old. But it is genre. I can't remember what it is offhand, but I'm looking forward to it, whatever it is, because I like Mark Verheiden. He does a lot of good work. He really does, and deserves to actually have a fucking hit for a change, something that actually lasts a bit longer than one season, 2 seasons, that kind of stuff. Yeah. So even closer, actually, this coming week here, May 15th, the Fury Files hits Disney Plus. So what is the Fury Files, you might ask? It's an animated look at Marvel heroes and villains. And essentially what it is supposed to be like the Shield files that you're going through, and they actually talk about the different heroes and villains. I don't know how it's going to work, but this is coming to Disney Plus on May 15th. I'll watch it. I mean, most of the stuff that Marvel does animated wise is pretty fun, tell you the truth, especially when they are doing canon stuff, when they're taking comic book stuff and actually making it into animated series. A lot of people didn't like the animated Spider-Man stuff that's going on right now that was on Disney XD that had a lot of asides where Spider-Man is talking to the camera and stuff like that. I actually liked it. I thought it was good. The Fury Files, is it about horses? No, it's not. That was a reach there, Stanley. That was a really big reach into the back of the closet on that one. Is it about horses? Oh. Again, timeout on that one for you. What else do I have here? actually, I had a bit of news. It's like I said, it comes and goes and fits and starts is what goes on. In case you forgot, it's now been officially announced. It was announced on Star Wars Day that Taika Waititi is actually directing a Star Wars film. A Star Wars film. Not a series, but a Star Wars film. What that means, I have no idea. No one knows. We haven't heard anything about it as of yet. All we know that he's working on it, of course. So I've said this before, and I'll say this again. Going back to the Mandalorian, back at the very beginning of this thing that I've been filming here. Jon Favreau has had, of course, guest directors coming on, and we know that Robert Rodriguez has directed an episode. If you go and take a look at Netflix, his series, The Chef Show, where he's cooking stuff with Chef Roy, he brings on celebrity guests and all this stuff. It's all the people that he is working with at the time. So he is working with people at Lucas Ranch. Robert Rodriguez was in 2 of the episodes for The Chef Show. Sam Raimi is in an episode of The Chef Show, and I'm still waiting for him to, for an announcement that Sam Raimi directed one of the episodes of The Mandalorian, because I'm pretty sure that's what happened. There's no way that, Jon Favreau just happens to have Sam Raimi on speed dial and goes, "Hey man, you want to come over and be on The Chef Show?" No, it's people that he's working with at the time. And he goes, "Hey, by the way," because he said at the very beginning of the series of The Chef Show that it's in between takes of stuff that he's cooking meals and decided to do this thing. So that's why he wants to, that's why he's been doing it. So obviously it's people that he's working with currently, at that time, because he was working with Dave Filoni on a project they couldn't mention. And this is in the first season of The Chef Show. And that project he couldn't mention was The Mandalorian. Yeah. Taika Star Wars will make some crappy, made up, unhappy fan base happy. That's good. They need something to get that stick out of their ass. Yeah. That was my first association. I'm old, I know. They have to rage about something. Well, they can still rage about Miss Marvel. Captain Marvel, whatever it is. And Doctor Who. I need my bottle. Oh, God. Yeah. I'm sorry. It's honestly, when you have fucking grown ass men doing that much fucking bitching, man, they need to be checked for toxic shock syndrome at this point. They really do. Yes. No, babies are actually much more well behaved than those little assholes. So, yeah. That's all I can say on that. It really, the less said about them, the better. The less said about them, the better. Let's go on to something more happy. How about that? May 29th, Space Force hits Netflix. So if you haven't seen the trailer for it, Space Force is Steve Carell and quite a few other people, actually. You probably remember that Space Force is a real U.S. organization now. And so this is a comedy that is basically kind of based off of that, with Steve Carell as the lead. He plays an Air Force captain, I believe it is, who ends up heading Space Force and is failing miserably, kind of thing at this. It's done by the people who did The Office, of course. And I'm going to watch it. I'm not a big fan of The Office, okay? I know people love The Office and everything like that. I'm not one of them. But I'll watch this because it's not done. I don't think it's done in the same vein of, you know, documentary, mockumentary, whatever it is. I think it's actually going to be done as a series kind of thing. Yeah. So it looks like it's gonna be fun, but May 29th is when you get that coming on. Yeah. And right before that, starting on May 27th, Marvel Comics is going to resume releasing new comic books. Dun, dun, dun. So for those of you who collect comics, read comics, all that kind of stuff, new comics are going to be coming out May 27th from Marvel. DC has already started shipping. They started shipping this week is when they started shipping. And they're limited runs is what they're doing. And I know that Diamond Distributors is supposed to be starting to do distributing again on the 27th as well. Hey, Ejar. How's it going? I am not the show killer, goddammit. That was low ratings. That's because you guys weren't watching the show. That's why. Yeah. I was watching the show. I was reviewing the show. Yeah. I know Penn was because Penn was with me, you know. I know my other mods weren't. Hint, hint on that. And they're not even here right now. See, I have my one good mod here. What else we got here? Oh yeah, this actually seems kind of interesting. So HBO Max has ordered an 8-episode season of an adult animated series called Santa Incorporated, which is going to star Seth Rogen and Sarah Silverman, who are both producing the show as well. Essentially what it's supposed to be is Sarah Silverman plays Candy Smalls, who is an elf at the North Pole. She's one of the up-and-coming elves up at the top there, who has a shot of being the first female Santa. Yeah, watch. You know, speaking of those man babies that we were talking about there, their heads are going to explode from this one. It really is. But yeah, that's what it's about. Candy Small. And of course, Seth Rogen voices Santa. And it's supposed to be R-rated from what I understand. So they're doing an 8-episode run for the first season, and I'll watch it because I'm going to have HBO Max anyway for other stuff. And if it's on, I'll watch it. It seems like HBO Max is going balls out on this one. They are really trying to I don't know. It looks like they're going to try and have a run for, you know, at Disney Plus and Netflix at this point. So we might have 3 big powerhouses going against each other. Hulu, they have to get absorbed by Disney Plus is what I'm thinking is going to happen. Hulu's probably going to get absorbed by Disney Plus at some point in time. DC Universe, same thing. I think it's going to get absorbed by HBO Max, and you're going to start seeing some of these big streaming services kind of glomming together. Yeah, I think that's just going to happen. Oh yeah, I heard about Solar Opposites, the Justin Roiland animated series. I actually saw the article on there. I was going to put it in my list of things, and I didn't, because to me, it just looked like another flyby. I don't think it's going to last too long, quite honestly. Then again, I could be wrong, and it could be the next big thing. So go figure. Balls to the wall or balls out is what I said. Ejar, balls out. That's a different thing altogether than balls to the wall or balls deep. That's something else altogether. Learn your acronyms here. So, speaking of HBO Max, they also premiered a trailer which looked pretty damn good, I have to admit, for Adventure Time Distant Lands BMO. And that says just coming soon to HBO Max. But yes, it's all about BMO. And BMO is going to a distant land. And I don't know why BMO has always been my favorite character in Adventure Time. It's been one of those characters that's just fucking oblivious to everything but gets stuff done. And I'm interested in seeing that, quite honestly. The trailer looked pretty damn funny. It really did. Uh, can you swim? Well, not very good, not very far. Well, let's go. And BMO just kind of kicks the character in the eye because it's sitting on top of the character's head, who happens to be a bunny. And BMO like pulls up the ears and kicks him in the eye in order to get him to move. It just looked pretty damn funny. It really does. So I'm all in for that. Don't Google balls deep. Yeah, you don't want to Google that one. That's not a good thing to Google. I fell off the adventure wagon a few seasons ago. I'm not a big Adventure Time fan, quite honestly. I like some stuff here and there. I've watched it sporadically here and there, but never enough where I followed the entire series. But a BMO episode, if it came on, I would watch a BMO episode because, like I said, I find the character kind of fascinating in a way. It's one of those characters that, like, again, is oblivious to everything except for what they're doing, and all other kind of shit could be happening around them, but they are single-minded in purpose as to what they're doing, and they get the stuff done, even though it might have nothing to do with what the hell else is going on around them, which is what I find funny, because there are a lot of people like that in the world. Case in point, someone who lives in the White House right now. Yeah. There's reality, then whatever the hell they're living in. So what else is there? I've got one last thing here. One final story. Sylvester Stallone was doing a Twitter video, I guess it was, while in captivity. I mean, in isolation, and he just happened to casually mention that they're working on Demolition Man 2. Why? Why Demolition Man 2? I don't understand what the fuck that's all about. The first movie is just, I mean, it's a standalone movie. You don't need to do anything else. If you want to do a Demolition Man 2, you should have done it right after Demolition Man. That's when it should have happened, not 20 years later. I don't know. You would prefer a remake? No, Dante S. No. You know, the first movie had no social commentary about what was going on in the world at the time. It made up its own, it had its own story. And you know what's going to happen is they're going to try and put in a lot of social commentary, try and make it relevant to what people are watching, you know, what people are doing now and what it could look like in the future and all this kind of. I don't want that. I really don't. I like defending Jacob, and it seems to have a J.K. Simmons appearance. I don't know what that is. Stanley Tweedle. Yeah, that's kind of out of left field, but sure. Okay. So that's all the news I've got going on today. What's going on with you guys? I mean, everyone's at home now, right? We're all sitting here amongst our shit that we have around us. And Apple and Crime series. Wow, that sounds fun. Dante S says, you're right, it'll be horrible, but the concept has potential. I don't know, Dante S. I really don't anymore. I just want something new and something that doesn't have to deal with, you know, you don't need to put in political, social commentary in every single thing that you do nowadays. You can have it live in its own world. You really can. You can have stuff live in its own world and make up its own rules. That's what it means to have fiction. Yeah. EJAR says, I thought we were already living in a hybrid between Demolition Man, Soylent Green, and the Andromeda strain. Possibly. We don't have the 3 seashells though, because obviously there's a run on toilet paper. I've been seeing toilet paper back out in the wild, by the way. It has returned. For those of you who are wondering. Yeah. So I'm trying to think of what else is coming up here. I am going to be doing Is It Worth My Time upload is what I'm going to do. That's going to be on Monday. Tomorrow, I'm going to take time off is what I'm doing. I'm not going to do anything on Sunday except for rearranging this stuff here because I'm moving it into the bedroom, which is behind the wall. That's why I'm pointing right behind me there. So I'm moving it back that way. That way I just don't have the gigantic window that's in front of me here making noise and all that kind of stuff. It's a little more soundproof back there. Don't get into any thoughts in your head about why that is. I just need to complete a piece of artwork to replace this guy that's behind me. At some point I got to finish that off too back here. So, but yeah, so Sunday I'm going to be out. Monday, Is It Worth My Time upload. Monday is not Is It Worth My Time. Jeez, God, I am just blanking. Let's re-roll that. Start all over again. Monday is going to be Star Wars The Clone Wars, the contest update. That's what it is, the contest winners. So first, or I should say the light side prize is this BB-8 socks, I should say, sock set. And the dark side prize is Kylo Ren Happy Meal, McDonald's Happy Meal toy. Yes, is what that is. All you have to do to enter is 1, be a continental U.S. resident. 2, put in a comment in the final episode of Star Wars The Clone Wars review that I did. It's up there on the playlist. And 3, if I call your name, email me your damn address so I can send it out to you. That's all you got to do. Pretty easy to do. Tuesday is going to be Future Man season 3. I'm going to continue my episode by episode review, even though no one is actually watching too much of it. And Wednesday is going to be Is It Worth My Time upload. That is when I'm doing that. Yeah. And then, of course, Thursday I'm off. Friday I come back around to Harley Quinn. And Saturday is Saturday Morning Blast Off all over again. Anonymous content show? Sometimes. You got to have something to fill the void there, Stanley Tweedle. What are you going to watch otherwise, huh? Yeah. Do I not make you entertained? Do I not dance for you? I don't actually, because I'm sitting down. But what you can't see is my legs are really moving right now. There we go. So if you like what you see and the insanity that ensues, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the very end of this video. You're going to see a video pop up here. And basically what YouTube does, takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match as best as possible one of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up here for you. Up here is going to be Harley Quinn at the very end of this video as well. If you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, you can hit the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at that weekly live stream schedule that's up there, and also the links to all my social media, which is up there as well. I mirror my weekly schedule up on my Facebook page, and I also have a Facebook group page, which you guys can post stuff on and chat amongst yourselves. You think I've done that one too many times? I notice I get faster and faster as I do this now. I don't think the closed captioning can actually hold up to it anymore. And I think it just kind of blends together now. I wonder how the closed captioning would do the if it comes up with something else. Because what was I watching? It was I know what I was watching. I was watching DC Universe, and I was watching Justice League Unlimited. The first season where Batman, Wonder Woman, and Green Lantern end up going back in time, and they go forward in time and go to Batman Beyond's universe and all that stuff. And in those 2 episodes, when Batman is punching somebody, it says block. The subtitles of when he's hitting it is block, BWOK. And so it's block, 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 block. And I was just laughing because it's the sound you make for a chicken. Block. Yes, I'm easily amused. What do you want? I've been inside for a long time here. You watched the first episode? Oh, at Stanley Tweet. Okay. I don't know. I don't know what you guys are talking about. So I'm going to let you guys go for the day. Thank you, everybody who joined me today in the chat. Thank you if you made it this far in this rambly video. And I will see you on Monday for the contest results for Star Wars: The Clone Wars. So until then, have fun, everybody. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may end up... I have no idea at this point. I've run out of things to say on that. Thanks, everybody. Have a good rest of your day. Stay safe out there, and I will see you on Monday. Have fun.